In 2020, I weighed 440 pounds, easily 200 pounds plus overweight. I was a pre-diabetic, depressed, and lived in isolation because I carried an insane amount of guilt and disappointment in myself. With a diet that consisted over 7,000 calories a day, I had very little hope that I would ever get to where I am today. But the question some might ask is how and why did I gain over 220 pounds? Let's get into it. Now, like I said in the intro, at my heaviest, I weighed 440 pounds. And I'd say my weight gain started when I was around 3rd or 4th grade. I'm from West Virginia, and if you know anything about West Virginia, it is known as like one of the leading states in childhood obesity and adult obesity. It's kind of like a culture here where eating fast food is just like the way of life. And I don't solely blame my upbringing as like a cause for my obesity, obviously, but I did start my anxiety eating at that age. And that's when I first developed my relationship with food being my place of escape. It brought me joy. It was something that I could always rely on. And I realized I was eating for comfort, eating for entertainment, eating for, I don't know, something to almost like my crutch. And that just escalated as I got older. Now, growing up in school, I don't know what my exact weight was because I would never dare step on a scale, but I was always the biggest in my class. I was always last in the running and gym class. I know my shirt size by the time that I graduated high school was a 2XL, which was like very big for obviously a high school student and a middle school student. But once I graduated high school, I feel like that's when a lot of my weight gain started. I would say that's probably when like over 150 pounds of my weight gain came from. I was self-isolating a lot. I was eating, one of my favorite meals, as you would call it, was a whole pizza, 2 packs of top ramen, chicken flavored, and a half gallon of apple juice, and a bunch of desserts. That was dinner. Lunch was a whole 2 McChickens and 2 McDoubles from McDonald's. So the calories that I was consuming at the time was insane. I actually highlight that in a different video of the diet that I used to eat. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I think when people see morbidly obese people like I was, they assume like, how did you get that big? Like, don't you want to work out? Aren't you trying to lose weight? Do you realize that you're like on your deathbed? And I think the thing that I always like tell people is like, obese people know that they're obese and they know that they are like on their deathbed, but it's something that you feel like is out of your control. And until you personally have that will to do it, then nothing anybody can say, no inspirational quote can inspire that person to do it unless they are inspired themselves. And at the time, I just was giving myself every excuse in the book. I was putting it off to next week, next month, next year. And it took until something major to kind of jar me and scare me into losing the weight. So again, I would diet, but my diet would be, I would eat 1,500 calories and try to work out for a week. And that would only last a week tops, and I would be binge eating for the next 2 months after that because I'm starving. You can't go from 0 to 100 is the biggest thing that I would tell someone. Don't start a full-fledged diet when you, 1, never diet, and 2, are over 400 pounds. But after I would fail with the diets, I would tell myself, well, listen, just don't gain any more weight. I remember weighing around 350 pounds, and I was like, listen, as long as you're not over 400 pounds, you're good, which is crazy in retrospect. But I remember saying that to myself, and so I would constantly try to keep off the weight, but slowly but surely I would gain until eventually I was 400 pounds. And then I was like, this is unreal that you're literally like 4 human beings plus. And then I would say around 2018, 2019 time, I went to the doctor, and that's when they told me that I was a pre-diabetic. And if I didn't diet or do extreme changes, I was going to be put on medications and the things would quickly escalate. And I was in my early 20s. I didn't want to be on medications then. I knew it would get significantly worse. I had family members who struggled with their weight, and I saw their life and how limited their full life experience was. And I was starting 15, 20 years earlier than they even were. So I was like, what am I going to look like by then? So that's when I got a scale and I stepped on it. When I stepped on the scale, however, it read error because the scale only weighed up to 430 pounds. And nothing will describe the feeling you have when you step on the scale and it reads that. It's quite embarrassing, even though it's just for your own self. But I was working at a clinic at the time, and I stepped on the clinic scale, and that's when I saw 440 on the scale, and I realized, okay, that's your starting number. And I remember after I weighed myself, I wanted to start. And of course, I still failed several times. And it was graduation day, and I sat in a chair. It was a folding chair. Barely could fit in it, could barely fit the gowns, because the gowns are just like hand-me-down gowns. So the gowns that I put on barely fit me, hat barely fit me. And I just remember like, man, I just really am desperate right now to really lose weight, and I have to do it. And so as the year went on, I set a New Year's resolution. And of course, as long as anybody who has struggled with weight can tell you, you set a New Year's resolution to lose weight every single year, and it never falls through. But it was 2019, and I told myself, listen, you are going to hold yourself accountable and finally lose the weight. That's why some people are against New Year's resolutions. I'm a huge New Year's resolution person. I do think that it's a magical time of the year where you can give yourself that extra motivation kick that you need to accomplish your goal. So I'm here for it. But you still have to put in the hard work. But after I did that, the new year came, 2020 came, and I was on track for a little bit. I was on track for the first month or two. And then it was the first time that I ever lost over 10 pounds ever. I usually got to 10 pounds and then I would gain it all right back and then some. So I lost the 10 pounds, but then I lost, I think, 17-ish pounds. And then once I dropped 20 pounds, I was super excited and I gained back 8 of those pounds. So I felt like I was on the decline. And then right then, January, February, March, maybe, the pandemic started with COVID-19, and it was scary time. And that was when they said those who are obese, those who are diabetic, have the risk of dying from it and will have so much struggle with it. So that's when I realized, I was like, okay, you got to get on this. And that was a great motivator. I started off working out in the gym. I took a picture my first picture. I'll put it up here. And then the gyms closed down, but I did not let that discourage me. The old me would have let that discourage me so badly. I went to my brother's, worked out at his workout gym. That's the video clip that I always have a lot of B-roll of me working out there, because I didn't have anywhere that I could work out at a gym. So I worked out in his gym, and that was where I lost probably 50 pounds there. And the gyms opened up to where you had to wear a mask. So I was wearing a mask in the gym and working out. I was determined to get to where I wanted to get to, because I wanted to actually be successful in my New Year's resolution and prove to myself that I could conquer this lifelong battle. And so that was my story of the beginning of my weight loss. And I just want to say, the year wrapping up and for New Year's coming up, I just wanted to put this video out there, because don't let this year go by or New Year's go by without being true to yourself and setting a goal and actually accomplishing it, especially something that's good for your own health. And I just wanted to put this video out there because the year's wrapping up, so we're all starting to tally up what our New Year's resolution is going to be for 2024. And just hopefully this video will inspire you if you are on a weight loss journey or any other journey that you're setting a New Year's resolution, that it can be accomplished. It's just you have to have the drive and the will to complete it. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, you will definitely enjoy my conversation with psychologist Cherish Hurd about the psychology of self-love. And if you're a music lover, me and my cousin have a show, The DJ's Take, where we discuss what's trending in the music world. Check it out under the DJ's Take playlist. See you next time.